Welcome to Winning Begins at Home. I'm Randy Gravitt. Glad you're with us today. We are attacking the second half of 2025 today, July the 1st. Can you believe it? Here we go into the second half of the year. And today I want to talk about freedom. It won't surprise you if you're an American that we're celebrating Independence Day this week. And so it's a good time to talk about freedom. But I want to talk about it in a little bit of a different way. I want us to think today that we have the freedom to choose what we want to do. And so we've been having this halftime discussion the last, I guess, a little over a week now. All last week, we covered content on making some halftime adjustments. I shared with all of you here that I'm an old coach, and I always loved a basketball coach. I loved that we could go into the locker room at halftime, and I was a girls basketball coach, and we could talk through with the girls what happened in the first half. We could do some assessing, we could do some adjusting, and then we could go back out in the second half and do some attacking and really try to maximize our opportunity. And I think that's really what I want to say here today as we land the week. I mean, it's Tuesday, but you're gonna have barbecues and picnics and fireworks and all kinds of stuff the rest of the week. Maybe you need some extra time to process what we talked about last week. Your download queue is getting kind of full, and you need to go back. And again, these episodes are 6 or 7 minutes, but some important stuff that's probably going to cause you to say, I got to think through some stuff more than just listen for 7 minutes. I'm going to really make change. I've got to give some thought to the things that we've been talking about. And I hope you really will do that. I think your second half, I said it yesterday, but I think your second half can be better than your first half if you'll make some of those adjustments. But it starts really with what is going on. And so I want us to think today about, we have the freedom to choose the way we use our life outside of work. And which is really cool part of living in a free country. You know, you do get to decide. And a couple of things I want to share today to just get you to think about. If you look at the first half of the year, I've been thinking about this for myself as I look back on some areas of my life in the first half. My life has been perfectly designed over the last 6 months to give me my current results. Think about that for you. I say it all the time. You're getting what you're getting because you're doing what you're doing. And I'm an old country boy. That's kind of the way we would say it there. In North Georgia. I think it's so important for us to own and take responsibility and accountability for all these areas of our life, emotionally and physically, financially, spiritually, all that stuff we talked about last week. You've got to own that. Your habits, your systems, your behaviors, your rhythms, they're all perfectly designed to give you your current results. And so I say it all the time, if you want something different, it is going to require that you do something different, and better is always going to be different. But better today starts with what I'm going to say, what I'm going to call a goal. And again, that language may not be comfortable for everybody. You may not be a goal setter. You may be a problem solver. There's different ways to think about it. But I want you to begin to think about, what do you want to accomplish over the next 6 months? And you might even do the exercise today of making a list of maybe 10 things that you want to accomplish. You might even take those areas that we talked about last week and come up with 2 or 3 things in each area. You may have a couple of things in your physical fitness, and you may have a couple areas spiritually, and you may have a couple of areas financially and relationally and emotionally, mentally, whatever. You get to choose, but are there 10 things that you say, I would love for this to be true at the end of the year, things that aren't true right now? What would I want to be true by the end of the year? So make your list of 10. And then here's what I would love to challenge you to do. Begin to cross out 5 of those areas. I mean, it's not that you don't want to accomplish those. They made your list, but if you could only pick 5, what would they be? And so that would be the second thing I want to challenge you to do. So let's start with 10. Let's narrow it down to 5. And then let's begin to think, how would we rank order the 5? Or you might do it this way. Which one of those 5 would be first? Like if you could only do one thing in the second half of the year, what would it be? And maybe you rank order your 1 through 5. And then here's what I want to challenge you to do. I know this is going to make you kind of feel very uncomfortable here, but I want to dare you to cross 4 of them off the list. Like your 2 through 5, mark them out. So now I like 2 through 10, they're gone. you've got one thing on your list. If this one thing would happen, you would be really happy about it. It would be the most exciting thing. Like, if this could happen over the next 6 months, this would be my number one area. And this is laser focus that we just created here with a goal, and we have freedom to do that. Now you have a choice. You have a choice. So with freedom comes a choice, right? You're free to choose. You can go after 10 things, or you can go after one thing. Here's what I can tell you. If you knock the one out of the park and you achieve the one, you have freedom to add others to your list. But if you constantly think, I'm going to do this, 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 you're going to struggle to do anything well. Remember what we talked about yesterday from Cal Newport's book, Slow Productivity. I just mentioned it. He said, do fewer things. I think the spirit of that is what I'm talking about today. It's like, let's pick one thing. And he said also, obsess over quality. What if you picked one area, one relationship, one physical, discipline in your life? You get to pick it. What is that one thing? You got a list of 10, narrow it down to 5, cross out 2 through 5, come down to 1. And when you get that, now you have laser focus. And I think if we're going to really, we're going to feel good about it, we're going to really enjoy it. I think that quality part can be so good. I mentioned yesterday, somebody told me that achievement and enjoyment, sometimes we get that all tangled up. And I think it's easy to do that. I think that's a really good reminder that a leader gave me. I want you to pick something that you will enjoy achieving. Pick something that you'll feel good about going after. And I believe if we do that, this second half, to me, this is the way we start the second half of the year. We pick one thing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this well. And now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I want to go ahead and add my second thing, I'm going to add my thing. No, let's master one thing. I say master. Let's really conquer one thing that we're going to feel good about. And you may need to give yourself at least 90 days here before you add something else. You can, it's not like you can't dabble in other things, but if you want laser focus, or if you want achievement and enjoyment, you're going to need laser focus. Now, there was a study, this is pretty powerful. One last thing I want to give you here. There was a study that, I think her name was Gail Matthews, Dr. Gail Matthews, I believe Dominican University out in California. She did this study. And you've probably thought about this before or heard about this before, maybe even heard reference to this study. But one of the things that she discovered was that if we write down our goals, like this is what we're doing today, we're writing down our goal. We're getting, again, laser focused on the one thing. If we write that down, the study showed that we're 33 to 42% more likely to achieve it than if we just, in our mind, listen to the podcast, make a decision. This is what I'm going to do. No, we need to write this down. I want to challenge you today to write the 10, narrow it to 5, cross out the 4, pick the 1, and let's go after it. Now, that still leaves a little wiggle room. I still may not achieve it. How do I make the odds go up? It was pretty cool in her study. I think the number went from 42% to 76, 33 to 42% to 76% if you do two things. You write it down, and you have some accountability. You tell somebody else what you wrote down. I want to challenge you to not only write it down, but to tell somebody. You might even leave a comment here on the YouTube. If you're watching the YouTube channel, you can just leave in the comments. This is my one. This is what I'm going after, Randy. And I'll be cheering for you if you do that. But I want to challenge you to really think about how are you going to start this second half of the year. And let's let this be the 6 months where we do achieve something big. It's something that we really have been thinking about. We want. Now, what does it look like? You get to decide. That's the cool thing about, the 4th of July, we got freedom and, all that stuff. What does freedom mean if we don't use that freedom for good? And so, again, it could be a relationship for you. It might even be something outside of home. I mean, it's maybe in your neighborhood, you got something that you really want to do or go after. Maybe you want to build something, do a project. That one thing that's really going to bring you the most satisfaction and the most joy. And every time we show up for that, I think it's just so it's so powerful. And so I know I got a couple things that I've been thinking about. I've narrowed it down to one thing for me, and maybe I'll tell you more about that later. But it's not about me. This is not about something. This is for someone, and that someone is you. And so today, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I always ask my players when we would leave the locker room, what are you going to do? What are you going to take responsibility for? These are the adjustments we're going to make. It's great to assess what we did in the first half. It's great to adjust, but now we need to go into attack mode. And I think we do that by focusing on the one thing. And how cool would it be if we get to the end of the year and you could look back and say, that was the moment when I decided I was going to go after this. I was going to stop going after everything. I was really going to go after something, and I accomplished that. And I promise you it's going to bring a lot of enjoyment if you do that with the right heart. So that's it. All right. I hope you have a really blessed 4th of July this week. Stay safe out there. I know you'll be shooting your fireworks and eating your hot dogs, whatever you're going to be doing. Make sure you have a really great time. Love the people around you. Lead them well. And remember, winning begins at home.